Hey everyone, this is Nitro from the Rocky Valley server in the Guild Snow. So in this video I just want to talk about my party and how it's been working out for me, because I've been getting asked about this by multiple viewers, and the last time I did a video like this was 10 levels ago. So I was level 47 then, and now I'm level 57, so that's actually around a month since I did a video about my party. So with all that said, let's just begin. So, during that last video, my main party was these top 6 characters: Leon, Bozol, Ledin, Lana, Bernhardt, and Liana. I also had, as useful for certain enemies, I used Almeda and Sophia. So that was my party at that point, and it was quite useful because, for example, Almeda, I used her for her talent, which was for any enemy within 4 blocks, they get a debuff. And I used that talent against, I believe it was the Thunder Dragon, the level 50, level 50 version of the Thunder Dragon, for example. But since then, I picked up Tiaris off the focus banner that had Tiaris on it, and Almeda has not been used since, in all honesty. Because, excuse me. Because for Almeda, I was using her to increase damage via her debuff, but that's completely random. I also used her for healing, but ultimately, for both of those purposes, which is doing more damage and healing, Tiaris is better in every sense. So, as soon as I got as soon as I got Tiaris, Almeda has no longer been used at all. Sophia, I haven't leveled at all, but I've continued to use her for the occasional battle. And the reason is because her rewind ability is just unmatched by any other character. You know, the fact that it can decrease the cooldown of all your other characters by 3 turns, it has a lot of utility. The only unfortunate thing is that it has a 5-turn cooldown, so it's not exactly usable in a lot of fights, but for certain fights it still has utility. Actually, I think I might have used Sophia for one of my Aniki fights. Can't really recall though at this point. In any case, my main party has really reduced down to 7 characters, which is Leon, Bozol, Ledin, Lana, Bernhardt, Liana, and Tiaris. So Tiaris has really replaced both Sophia and Almeda in the party. Anytime I need additional damage, I usually use Tiaris. Sophia still has the occasional use for her rewind, but it's become more and more rare. Generally speaking, these 7 have been able to do more damage than I would with Sophia's rewind. I do have Cherry leveled up to level 51, and that is purely for fighting in the secret realm, the goblins, the stolen treasure. And I've used Cherry for that because of her Wild Princess ability. Basically, she gets if you use a gain on her on turn 1 from Liana, she gets 2 attacks on turn 1. Gale may give her additional attacks, and her Wild Princess will actually refresh for a second use on turn 5. It's not absolutely required, because the Bozol Lana double AoE can generally clean the map anyways, but it's just, I guess, just in case. That's what Cherry's been used for. I actually, as a quick note, I actually do not have an equipment set for Cherry. I've never got any armor or helmet upgraded for the flying class characters. So that's why I haven't used her at all in terms of PvP content or World Arena or anything like that. So that pretty much covers my party. With regards to how effective it's been, this party with 2 mages, 1 melee DPS, 1 swordsman, 1 tank, and 2 healers has been able to clear basically all the content except for the Thunder Dragon. It's because the Ice Dragon needs 2 mages, which for me were Bozol and Lana. For the Thunder Dragon, I've used Leon and Bernhardt, and they've done a lot of damage to it. I just have not been able to clear the level 65 version because I can't get into range in time. And also, Bernhardt's equipment is not quite fully upgraded yet. I still really need an attack an accessory that adds attack so that Bernhard can actually do more damage per strike against the Thunder Dragon, and it would also be nice to get, you know, an armor, an SSR armor for Bernhard. If he has an attack accessory, SSR version, and I think the armor would be optional, but what I really need is an attack accessory for Bernhard, and then I should probably be able to take down that Thunder Dragon. The other limitation, of course, is Leon getting into range properly, but, you know, unless I roll for Alte Muller, I can't really do anything about that. So, what I'm hoping is, when I hit level 60, I'm going to give the Thunder Dragon another try, and we'll see if I can take up the level 65 version of the Thunder Dragon then. So, other than that, I mean, I've talked about my equipment multiple times in multiple videos, so I don't think I really need to go over that again. You can see it in basically any Thunder Dragon video, what kind of equipment I have on my characters right now. Other than that, there really is not that much to say. I mean, having all these SSR characters has really simplified my party down to these 7. Oh, yeah, I guess there is another note. You can see that I'm slowly leveling up other characters to around level 45. In fact, basically all my characters are at level 30 or 35. And there's actually a reason for that. It's because of Guild Wars. Guild Wars, especially the lower level versions, like the level 45 and 48 versions, if you have characters at a decent level, like 35, 40, and they're actually very usable as support characters. I'm going to be creating a Guild Wars video, I'm hoping next Monday, this coming Monday I should say, where I'll talk about, you know, how to farm Guild Wars efficiently to get as many battles in every day as possible. So I guess look forward to that. But I guess that's really been my main focus lately. Just slowly leveling up a lot of my other characters to level 45 or so that they can be used for Guild Wars. And of course, keeping everyone, other than keeping my used characters at the max level, of course. So I guess that pretty much covers it for this video. There's not much to say because I have not really done any training ground at all. The only real thing I've done with the training ground, like I have not grinded it whatsoever. I've only done the dailies for the training ground, so I get an occasional upgrade maybe once a week for each training ground. But that's it. Oh, something just came to my mind. These training grounds, you can see my cavalry training ground and archer training ground have not been upgraded at all. In fact, both of these hit level 11 and level 9 basically purely through the expeditions that you do every day. I haven't done them mainly because none of my characters use either of these. The only reason to upgrade archers would be if you use Narm or Luna, for example. But in fact, both of those could actually use the cavalry branch, and you can actually ignore the archer branch completely. That only applies if you have the SSR bow that gives you +1 range. But that's just an interesting note that I thought I should bring up. You can actually ignore the archer training ground entirely if you so wish. The only use for it would be, I guess, for PvP, if you were to get samurai and so on for a lot of the organ characters. But other than PvP, archer training ground can honestly be ignored entirely. Sorry. The reason for that is, I'm actually going off topic here, but if you get the +1 range SSR bow, that +1 range actually affects your units as well. So let's say you give it to Narm or you give it to Luna, okay? A Bow Knight Luna. So all Bow Knight Luna herself gets 3 range, okay? But it also means her units get 2 range if they were 1 range. So if you give her, let's say, the Heaven's Guard, which has a high damage, you know, and it also gets additional attack value for each block you move, these Heaven's Guard will have 2 range and they'll hit for a very high attack value. So Heaven's Guard Luna is actually considered one of the better options for Luna, as long as you have that +1 range bow. Because again, cavalry units just have a lot more attack than any of the archer units. Yes, you could equip her with, let's say, her regular units, like Luna's, I guess, Demon Hunters? Yeah, Luna has Demon Hunters, or maybe I think she gets Bolt Rangers too. Yeah. So you could equip her with one of these units and then have 3 range, which would be nice, but just be aware that the 3 range Luna would have much less attack in that case. That said, a 3 range Luna would probably be much more effective on auto battle, as opposed to using the Heaven's Guard, where you would really have to manually use Luna for her to be effective. So yeah, I guess that's the other thing that I should note. That in my training ground, I have not leveled up Cavalry or Archers and Assassins at all. Neither of them have even hit level 12, so I don't have any access to their advanced units. You can see, none of them are unlocked. Hellhounds are not unlocked, Templar Knights, and so on. But yeah, I guess the main thing is I focused my gold into Lancer, Infantry, Flyer, and Holy, which is pretty much all the main classes that you use, right? Infantry is Bernhard, Lancers is the Phalanx, Flyers would be Leon, and Holy would be Healers, Shrine Maidens, as well as the Sorceress. So other than that, I don't have that much left to say at this point. Well, actually, one of my viewers did ask me to go over my training ground in detail, so I guess I can quickly do that. So, in terms of focusing my upgrades on the training grounds, what I've done is I've purely focused it on the characters I use. So infantry, my only character for infantry right now is Bernhard. So the only, I guess, final character I've upgraded, tier 3 unit wise, is the Dark Guard, which is at level 6. Okay? None of the other tier 3 units have been upgraded. In fact, this is tier 0, tier 1, tier 1, tier 1, tier 0, and then tier 1, tier 0. So there you go. The only one I used is Dark Guard, and that's the only one I upgraded. I will probably slowly upgrade the Mask Maids soon, because I did pick up Elwyn, so if I switch to using Elwyn, I will need Mask Maids upgraded. But I don't see any point in upgrading any of the other infantry units, because, yeah, the only infantry you should be using is really Bernhard or Elwyn, and that would be either Mask Maids or Dark Guards. So that's it. Next, let's go into Lancers. And oh, just another point. This focusing on only like 1 or 2 units, as few as possible, becomes increasingly important, because 1, you're limited by gold, and 2, more importantly, you're limited by these SSR items. At this point, all my upgrades only need these SSR items, and they're so rare, they're so hard to get off the Anarchies. So yeah, you really need to narrow down your focus at this point. Next, let's talk about Lancers. Lancers, my only Lancer unit is Leaden. My only upgraded Lancer unit as a result is Phalanx. That pretty much sums it up. They're level 6. Lava Titans are even level 2. I mean, I could upgrade these ones a bit, because at this point, I can upgrade them to level 5 without issue, I think, because it only uses gold books up to level 5. But keep in mind, I'm still also upgrading the general upgrades still. So I have not, that's why I haven't upgraded my Lava Titans. I don't use them often enough for the upgrades to be worthwhile. So yeah, Phalanx level 6, I unlocked the Heavy Centurions, don't use them. Amazon Champions level 1, use them for a bit on Leaden. Level 2 for Lava Titans, probably won't upgrade these anytime soon. Stone Colossus level 0, haven't even unlocked Vanguard Lancer, because I believe he's Vargas's unit, yeah. He's Vargas's unit, and I don't use Vargas. So I haven't even unlocked that. And Dark Centurion, yeah, level 1. So that's it for the Lancer training ground. Next, I guess, is the Flyer training ground. Now, the Flyer one, again, any unit I don't use, I have not upgraded. So level 0 Tidemaster, level 1 Lizardman, level 1 Griffin Knight. These ones I actually unlocked for Guild Wars, so that some of my other characters would have tier 3 units, but I haven't really used them, to be honest. Griffin Knight, I guess, I've used a few times. And same thing with the Holy Pegasus, because there's a few units, like Lance, that can use these Holy Pegasus. So Lance, I have no idea who this guy is, and Luna. We're using Holy Pegasus. Griffin Knight, I guess, I don't know who used the Griffin Knight, but there are a whole bunch of characters who have access to it. Um, other than that, but other than unlocking them, they're all basically level 1s or 0s. Level 0, level 1. Vampire Bats have been raised to level 5 because Leon does switch between Vampire Bats and Angels pretty often. But at this point, you do have to make a decision about whether to level up your Vampire Bat or your Angel unit. And for me personally, I decided to focus on Angels. The reason for that is because what I'm finding is Vampire Bats are still just at level 5. The Vampire Bats have been very effective for auto fights as well as, you know, in a lot of other fights where I need units that can self-heal. But in terms of overall damage output, what I've noticed is Angels are better because as long as their hit points is above 50%, their attack and defense is increased by 14%. So this extra attack and defense buff has made Angels do more damage than the Bats do generally. So if I'm manually fighting, or let's say having a PvP fight, I'm finding that Angels are much better. It's only for PvE content where you auto fight that the Vampire Bats are superior. So given that's the case, I'm focusing on maxing out the Angels, and I'm going to ignore the Vampire Bats, just leave them at level 5. Again, you know, that way I can save these SSR items for other upgrades that I think are more important. So other than that, just a quick note about the Flyers training ground is that this was raised to my attention by one of my viewers, so thank you for that. I knew this existed, but I forgot to mention it in other videos, and that's this training ground skill. In the basic training ground, this skill here, Preemptive Strike. When Flyer and Aquatic hit points is above 80%, their attack and defense is actually increased by 20%. So maintaining high hit points on your flying units is very, very important, given that they get a 20% stat buff. So that is one reason why Vampire Bats are so strong, because they permanently keep your unit healthy by restoring hit points, and they get that 20% health addition. So just an interesting and useful note. There are other ways to keep Angels healthy, such as, for example, Leon has Chivalry, which heals up their health. If you apply Prayer in advance, you know, after the fight, they'll heal up as well. So there are ways to keep Angels healthy and, you know, let them benefit from this bonus. It's just, if you're auto fighting, auto battle, which I've noticed I'm doing more and more of, Vampire Bats are a better choice. So let's continue. Other than Flyer, last but not least, I guess, is the Holy Training Ground, and I'll just cover that briefly. In the Holy Training Ground, you can see, again, I just have a few units unlocked, right? In fact, I've never finished Anti-Demon Specialty. I just left it at level 5 because I just haven't seen the need for it. Even with it at only level 5, almost all demons get one-shotted anyways, so that is what it is. Right? Plus, Holy units, which is really just Liana for me and Tieris, are rarely attacking. They're almost always healing. Given that's the case, Anti-Demon Specialty has even less use for me. Continuing on, Holy Knights unlocked at level 1. Zealots. Yeah, Zealots are at level 3. That was when I had actually initially used the Zealots for Ledin, and then I realized they were quite terrible, so I replaced them with Amazon Champions. But I haven't really leveled them since. Quick note, Zealots are considered Chris's endgame unit, because they get pretty high attack value with that attack buff, so they do have use. If you keep leveling them up, it's okay, doesn't hurt, but again, it's another unit to level up, another use of your gold resources, another use of your SSR items, so maybe bring it to level 5 for a while, and then wait and see. Bishops I haven't touched. Now, just a quick note, Bishops are used for almost every healer, right? Tieris has access to them, Liana has access to them, Almeda, you know, and so on and so forth. Basically, yeah, almost every healer has access to these Bishops. They do have a good effect in that they do increase your hero healing effect, right? But, again, it's a resource issue. If I commit resources into Bishops, then I can't do other upgrades, and it uses up gold. So, as a result, I haven't upgraded Bishops. Instead, I do have Shrine Maidens at level 5, and you know what? even without that additional, what, 5%, 6%, maybe 10% at level 5 bonus? Yeah. At level 5, this would be a 10% hero healing effect bonus. Even without it, I've noticed that Liana and Tiaras are healing more than enough, more than I need. So I don't think it was a bad choice to not upgrade bishops. In any case, I think Shrine Maidens is the bigger priority because there's a lot of enemies that do physical damage to your heroes. For example, Macho Blast from the Anarchies. Those are all physical damage. So having the Shrine Maidens at level 5 has kept my Liana alive through a lot of fights that she would not live otherwise through. So that's pretty much about the Shrine Maidens. In terms of other upgrades, yeah, look, I haven't even unlocked Undead Knight because I don't want to, again, commit any resources into this tech, Armor Contamination. And the reason for that is I don't use demon units. Simply put, I don't use demon units. I see no reason to use demon units, so I haven't upgraded this or unlocked the Undead Knight. Next, you know, wizards. Not using any wizards, so they're level 0. Sorceress upgraded to level 6, and that's because sorceress are used by both Bozel and Lana. So I'm minimizing, in fact, Tiaras can use them too. So that's an interesting point. You give them to Tiaras as well. So that's why they're upgraded to level 6. Again, I'm just minimizing the number of units that I need to upgrade. Over here, right, Exorcists are level 0, Skeleton Knights level 0, Hellfire Archers unlocked purely because Egbert can use them, but I've used them a few times and I don't like them. You know, their healing effect only heals when they're down to 0 health, which isn't very useful in my opinion. And you know, they do extra damage to the enemy, but again, this game seems to focus more on you killing an enemy completely, not doing extra damage to them. So given that's the case, I didn't find these Hellfire Archers all that great. In addition, the other thing about these Hellfire Archers is I'm pretty sure they don't apply when you use area of effect attacks. And in a lot of fights, Egbert, you know, Bozel, Lana are using AoE attacks, so even less reason to use Hellfire Archers. My conclusion is, for single target strikes, generally speaking, sorcerers are better. They have better attack, they also increase your magic defense, you know, so I always use the sorceress rather than Hellfire Archers. I just haven't seen any point where Hellfire Archers are superior to sorceress yet. So again, that's why I unlocked them and never upgraded them since. So that pretty much covers, I guess, my training ground. You know, you can see that I really just focused on 1 or 2 units per branch, right? Dark Guards for infantry, Phalanx for lancers. I now focusing purely on angels for the flyer branch. I did upgrade vampire bats to level 5 though. And finally, in the holy ground, it's sorceresses for mages and shrine priestess for healers. So that pretty much covers everything. By not upgrading all those other things, I've been able to save my resources, save my stamina, and right now I'm just farming the dragons to get more SSR items. Hopefully in my next video, which I guess I'll do at level 60 or so, my characters will finally have their SSR equipment as opposed to continuing to use level 50 SRs. So that's it. That does cover everything. Thanks for watching everyone, and if you have any questions or comments, you can leave them in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer them. And on that point, Nitro out.